We'll talk about
Yes.
it.
Certainty of death, small chance of success. What are we waiting for?
Fellas, I feel this is my lucky day.
Brilliant.
Hey, and welcome to another episode of Rankum. It's going to be a fun one today. We're doing another drama decade. We're doing 2000s this time, and we've got Austin here. Austin, how's it going?
I'm doing great. Let's get dramatic.
Also here we've got Alex. Alex, how's it going?
Hi. Hello. Doing great. How are you?
And we've got Jacob here. Jacob, how's it going?
It is going wonderful today.
And last but not least, we've got Jonathan. Jonathan, how's it going?
Doing great. Before you have the family drama on Thanksgiving, let's have one more piece of drama here.
I mean, that wasn't
That's what
initially
you
the
did there,
plan for this, but it brings up another option to have. But how the show works is we each take turns in going around and nominating a movie we think belongs on a top 12 drama list, and then everyone else will say yes or no to if it belongs or not. And then at the end we rank them all. But Austin, we go to you first. What is the first movie you're going to bring up?
Oh boy, there's a lot to choose from. I'll start with one of the ones I'm passionate about. I spent 16 years and still occasionally do spend 16 years in this profession on the side. That being this. The sport of professional wrestling, and so I feel I need to nominate one of the best, not only sports dramas of all time, but the best kind of sort of fictional biopics ever. I'm going to go with Darren Aronofsky's The Wrestler. What a movie that took a guy, Mickey Rourke, who was kind of almost like the movie, kind of down and out, not really a star, hadn't been a star in a while, and really gave him the performance of a lifetime. Marissa Tomei is amazing in this movie. I know several people that are in this movie. I've been in the ring with several people that are in this movie, so I just have a personal connection to it a little bit. But I think it's not only one of the best examples of what you can do, kind of similar to Rocky with sports and how that can kind of add to drama, but how you can really, balance the two, the spectacle of one thing and kind of how somebody can be kind of struggling with it in another way. So, yeah, I'm going to nominate 2008's The Wrestler.
Alex, what do you say about The Wrestler?
I like this movie. I love this movie a great deal. I'm not a wrestling particular fan, but it's hard not to really admire this movie quite a bit. And I think Tomei's performance in particular is one of my favorite performances of the decade. Hollywood performances for sure. But honestly, it's a no for me because when I think of dramas of the decade, that doesn't even really pop up in the top 20 options for me personally. But I love the suggestion.
Jacob, what do you say about The Wrestler?
It's a yes for me. I absolutely love this movie, and all the reasons that Austin said, other than the being in the ring with them, are my feelings on the movie exactly. So it's a pretty easy yes for me, actually.
And Jonathan, what do you say about The Wrestler?
Well, first off, this one for me was an easier list to pick from in contrast to the 2010s. I had 4 locks. The Wrestler's not one of them, but it's in my personal top 12. It's a yes from me. I think this is an outstanding film from Darren Aronofsky, who does these deep, dark character studies really well with Black Swan and also with this one, which garnered Mickey Rourke some much-deserved acclaim. He should have won the Oscar for this. This is a fantastic film. I rewatched this year, and besides him, we get also an outlook of how wrestlers deal with their fame post wrestling, and it is kind of devastating. So yeah, it's 100% yes for me for The Wrestler. Great choice.
I love The Wrestler. It's one of the movies that I've gone to quite a bit. This is one that I was going to sort of rewatch for this, but then it was like, well, I've seen it a few times. So I but yeah, it was a crime that Mickey Rourke wasn't even nominated for Best Actor for this, because I do
He
think he
was.
should have.
He was.
Um,
He was.
but yeah, it's an easy yes for me, and we go to Alex.
I do want to point out, you guys are going to notice a pattern when I present my movies, my selected movies for this whole list, that I went with more unconventional films, but also I am going to be going with quite a few foreign films as well. So ideally, movies that you might not think of right away. So my first selection would have to be Old Boy from 2003. Now this is a wonderful Korean film. It's a crime drama. It is a mystery. It's a thriller. It's high octane. It's high anxiety from the get go, with some pretty stellar performances, and has such kind story that's absolutely horrifying, and I have a hard time describing it without kind of freaking myself out a little bit, just thinking of specific scenes. But it's also incredibly impactful, not only getting a Spike Lee remake, which was awful, if I do say so myself, but it's fantastic. It's a wonderful Korean film and one of the best films of the past several decades, in my opinion. So Old Boy from 2003, the Korean film.
Jacob, what do you say about Old Boy?
I haven't seen it yet.
Jonathan, what do you say about Old Boy?
Okay, so I have prepping myself for Park Chan-wook's films, and because I want to see Decision to Leave soon. I watched Thirst for the first time. I have not gotten to Old. Oh, and I also watched The Handmaiden, which is fantastic.
Wonderful.
I have not gotten to Old Boy yet. This is one of those movies that this is one of those movies that I know is so popular, but that I have not gotten to yet. And I am a fan of Chan-wook's films, 2 films. So I'll get to it soon, but I cannot say anything further than that.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Alex. Unfortunately, I've only seen the remake. I haven't seen the original.
Trash. It is absolute trash.
I mean, I agree if that's not good.
I do want to point out again, the movies that I've selected, I know I'm like 95% sure none of my movies are actually going to get on this list, but I am here to highlight them and just not only just remind you guys that these movies are fantastic and to check them out if you have not seen them, but also just broaden those movie horizons a little bit. Just remind you that they're there. So
yeah,
it's fine.
But anyway, Austin, what would you have said about Old Boy?
Old Boy is in my top 100 favorite movies of all time. I love Old Boy. It looks great on 4K in my beautiful
boy,
steelbook.
Austin, I knew we were going to be friends.
Yes. Old Boy rules. It is great. I would definitely classify it as like a sort of a dramatic thriller because there is some thriller stuff, throughout it. But yeah, what the guy goes through is pretty harrowing. Yeah, if you've only seen the Spike Lee version, please do yourself a favor and go back to this version. It's incredible. It's shot beautifully. It's acted beautifully. Korean cinema is one of my favorite sort of foreign subgenres. So I would have said a big yes for Old Boy, but unfortunately we don't have enough people who've seen it.
But Jacob, we go to you. What is your first nomination?
Yeah, I'm kind of doing the same thing, just highlighting movies that I love. Usually I'll bring up movies that I like, but I also think will make the list. I'm like, you know what? I just want to take this opportunity to talk about movies that I love. And if you guys say yes, great. If you say no, also great. So the first one I want to bring up is Finding Neverland. I adore this movie. Johnny Depp as J.M. Barrie and kind of the story of how Peter Pan came to be, and I think he is incredible. The bond he builds with the kids, and And
Well, Jake, we
and-
met in Atlanta. You probably just don't remember. You were very inebriated.
That is the worst movie.
I missed something. I looked away. But Finding Neverland, I adore this movie. I think Johnny Depp is fantastic. One of his best performances, in my opinion. And yeah, the story of how like he came up with Peter Pan, and his bond with the kids and their mom is incredible. And the ending of this movie gets me every time. It doesn't matter how many times I've seen this movie, I still feel the same emotion every single time. I think this movie is great, so that'll be my first nomination.
Jonathan, what do you say about Finding Neverland?
I've only seen this one time, back when it was coming out around 2004, I believe.
Mhm.
And I remember not liking it. But I will admit I was pretty young at the time, so I just didn't get it, didn't care for it. Even though I like the ending. I kind of cried at the ending. But and now it's memed all over the internet. But a few of them more funnier than the others. But it's going to be a no for me because two reasons. One, like I don't think I liked it very much, but also it's been a long, long time since I've seen it. So yeah, it's a no.
Yeah, I mean, like for me, it's also been a long time since I've seen Finding Neverland, but I also remember really loving it too. Like it's one of those ones like we're not like I remember hearing about this in passing, like, and when I heard that Jack Sparrow is going to be the creator of Peter Pan, I was like, that doesn't sound right. But Johnny Depp was great. Was as Jane Barry, like it got him his second Oscar nomination, well deserved. Like, and it was one of those races which was really tough because, like, I just looked at it then, like Ray Charles, the Jamie Foxx won for Ray, not the other way around. But yeah, Austin, what do you go for? Say about Finding Neverland?
Somehow I knew Jacob was going to bring this up because he brings this movie up a lot, and I know him very well. And no, I've seen this movie much more recently than probably anybody on here. Probably 6 months ago, whenever we did that show. Jacob and I did a show. I watched it for it. Yeah, I had never seen it up to that point. I'm going to give it a yes. I think this movie's great. I think this movie's it's really fun. It gave me big Saving Mr. Banks vibes, which is a favorite of mine personally, with its kind of connection to Mary Poppins. And yeah, if the ending stuff with, while the play's going on, with the contagious kind of vibe of the play as it's going on with the kids getting the adults into it, if that doesn't, move you, I don't know what will. I think it's a really, really solid movie. So I'll give it a yes.
And Alex, what do you say about Finding Neverland?
I'm gonna give this a no personally. I have seen this movie semi recently in the past 2 years, I want to say, and I liked it a great deal. However, it's a movie that kind of annoys me because for me it's in the conversation of one of those biopics that's considered one of the worst biopics of all time. It's a very inaccurate, horrible portrayal of historical events. It's not as bad as, like, say, Saving Mr. Banks. Um, uh, no, that's a whole conversation we're not going to go into right now. No, we will not. But I know this. Well, for knowing that as a movie alone, I think it's a fine movie. But I don't think it's a very good biopic, and for me, that kind of detracts from personally. It's how good it is. It just doesn't make me enjoy it as much comparatively. But as a result, that's a no from me. But really fantastic performances and wonderful score. Wonderful score.
But that Finding Neverland is still going to make this. And we go to Jonathan for his next nomination.
All right. So I'm gonna go with one of my 4 locks, and this is one of my favorite movies of all time. And I rewatched this recently, and just prepare to have your hearts broken and your minds erased with Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. look, this is one of the most original, unique, visionary films of the 21st century. It's a remarkable movie about an introvert played by Jim Carrey, and who discovers that his girlfriend, yay, Kate Winslet makes an appearance again on this show. Uh, played by Winslet. That she erased her memories of him, but from the firm run by Wilkinson. So he does the same thing, and basically he rediscovers the memories of him and her, and he wants to stop or prevent the people working on him to erase his mind. So yeah, it's a wonderfully constructed love story by Michelle Gondry and also Charlie Kaufman, and yeah, that will be my first nomination. The excellent Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind.
Yeah, I know if a certain person is watching this, he's probably screaming in the comments now. Jacob knows exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
um,
I do too.
but yeah, but yeah, this is when I was constructing my list. Like, I knew that I'd say yes to sort of if they fall into a certain range for me. Unfortunately, Eternal Sunshine is just outside of it. I do love this movie. I think it's good, but I've got a lot more that I've got higher than that I think belong on this list over it. So I'm going to say no. Austin, what do you say about Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind?
Oh, it's 100% yes. Yeah, it's on my list, of course. Yeah, this is not only one of Jim Carrey's best movies, but yeah, I think one of the most kind of heart wrenching movies of the 2000s easily. And it's one that you don't have to. I don't find it very like super rewatchable, but that doesn't hurt the quality. You know, so just because it's a journey when you enter this movie. I rewatched it probably like a year ago, hadn't seen it in a minute, and yeah, it'll knock you on your ass. It's one of those types of movies that'll just get to you. And yeah, my rule of thumb for these, man, like I make like a list of 20. If somebody brings it up, I'm probably going to say yes. You know, so obviously, you know, we only have room for 12, but like if it's on here and I like it, I'm probably going to say yes. So, you know, yeah, I'm going to give a big yes to Eternal Sunshine.
Alex, what do you say about Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind?
That's a no from me, dog. Jonathan, I actually we talked about this the other day. I really enjoy this movie. I think this movie is wholly original. The performances are amazing, and I was like, John Wilkinson, like, why are you one of my like favorite characters in this entire thing? I don't know. I can't explain it, but it's fantastic. I would be wholly happy for this to be on the list. It's not my personal Jim Carrey performance. That's for Man on the Moon. We've talked about that. But I would love to see this. No problem with seeing this on the list. But I'm being super duper stingy on selections.
I'm gonna go get the coffee ready for this show.
Hey, I got my peppermint tea. You know.
I think I'm a little more loose. I'm like, hey, if it's on the 20 I made and somebody brings it up, cool, let's go.
But again, I'm very happy to see it on the list. But personally, it's not one of my top 10 or 15 dramas of the decade. Personally.
So, Jacob, are you going to make JPO happy?
Are you going to make him very, very mad?
Part of me wants to say no just to make him mad because that's just kind of the friendship we have. But I do really enjoy this movie. It's in my 12. I think Jim Carrey and Kate Winslet are fantastic, and all the supporting characters too. The story is unique, and I love this movie as well. So I'm going to say yes.
And if that Eternal Sunshine does make this list, and it's on
it
to
might
me.
be a long night for you, Alex, if you just got at least a little personal. Everybody else has got a personal movie so far, or connected movie they like.
No, I mean, again, I expect none of my movies to get on this list. All my movies are personal.
I would have said yes to Old Boy. You just ran out of votes. You know, if you had one more, somebody had seen it.
It's all about surprises.
Yeah,
all about drama as well.
You know what, Austin. All I'm hearing is that I'm making y'all a little more motivated to check out these movies. So that's all I want. If one of y'all walks away from this hangout deciding, hey, I'm going to check out Old Boy or X, Y, and Z,
I will.
I did my job. There you go.
Jacob should have seen Old Boy by now. He's seen it pop up on enough of our lists over on tournament fights.
That's true,
He
that's
should have
true.
It's
watched
just a
it.
matter of me wanting to pay for it.
Oh boy, that's access to
Anyway,
that.
anyway,
Yeah.
talking about personal picks.
Oh, I wonder what he's going to bring up.
Yeah. Look, quite often I do these lists. If there's a New Zealand movie I know I'm going to bring up that I want people to watch for this, I will mention it in the group chat, and this is no exception because, this movie is actually 20 years old. This year or next year, depending on which release date you go by. Because if it's New Zealand, then it's this year. If it's US, it's next year. But I'm bringing up Nikki Caro's Rail Rider. This is just a really like beautiful movie. And it's just one of those ones like I wasn't familiar with the book when I went in. I just sort of went in going to see it because I always want to support New Zealand movies every time I get a chance. And this is such a good movie. And like Keisha Castle-Hughes deserved to be nominated for an Oscar for this because she was. But and it's just one of those ones that just is a great movie. I really should rewatch this so I can talk about this more eloquently. But yeah, Rail Rider's on the table. Austin, what do you say about Rail Rider?
Watched it yesterday because you kind of hinted that you would probably bring it up. I like this movie. Don't know if I love this movie, but having said that, I don't have a problem with everybody having a personal pick on this list. So I'm going to say yes because I know you love it so much, and I did like it. I think the performances are excellent. I just don't connect to anything in the movie. I'm not a big coming of age person. Like I don't really love coming of age movies. I'm just not. And I don't have any connection to New Zealand, obviously, or any of this family stuff that they're going. It give me Roman Reigns vibes. It's all this like head of the table, head of the tribal chief stuff, like running the family kind of thing. Okay. But everything was really solid. So you know what? I'm going to throw you a bone knock. I'm going to say yes because you'd probably riot on your own show if it didn't get on here.
But Alex, what do you say about Rail Rider?
That's a big old fuck yeah from me, dog. I love this movie. It's I know you said, Austin, that you don't really relate to it particularly. I don't.
Well, I was never a 12-year-old girl, to be fair.
Well,
So it's hard to
I
connect
was a
to
12-year-old girl, and I didn't relate to it all that much. I never rode whales or anything along those lines. But it's I think it's a beautiful coming. It's one of my personal favorite coming of age stories. Period. I think it's beautiful. It's impeccably acted. Its cinematography is very underrated. But it's just a wonderful story that includes themes that I feel like anyone can really have a really great takeaway of, whether it be like toxic family dynamics, or if you want to talk about gender dynamics, just general coming of age, finding yourself, or finding confidence. Oh my gosh, the whole thing where she does the dance and the speech and everything, and her grandfather isn't there. Oh God. I mean, how can you not bawl your eyes out? So that's a big ol' yes for me.
Jacob, what do you say about Rail Rider?
I didn't get a chance to watch it, so sorry.
And Jonathan, what do you say about Rail Rider?
Well, as a relative of Nikki, I did watch it. Not really. I'm not a relative, but I have watched it. It is a very good movie. Yeah, I would have gone a marginal no because it was in my honorable mentions. It did make my honorable mentions list. I had about 15 honorable mentions. So yeah, it's a really good movie that everybody should check out. But I am glad that it made it on the list, and check it out. Great performance by Keisha Castle-Hughes. I believe she got nominated for this as well.
She was nominated, yeah.
Yeah. But if that makes the list, then Austin, we go back to you for your next nomination.
I'll go with another one that I've watched many times. I just think is kind of perfectly crafted for what it's going for. I'm a big Jason Reitman fan. And maybe I'll surprise with which one I bring up, but I'm going to go with Up in the Air from 2009. I'm a big fan of Up in the Air. Love everything about this movie, all the character dynamics. I think it's one of George Clooney's best performances. This is the movie where I fell in love with Anna Kendrick, and I think she's incredible. The dynamic that she and Clooney have. There's some absolutely both funny and brutal scenes to watch. I mean, the scene where they're firing the one guy over the little screen and he's in the next room is brutal. They take a nice, interesting twist with where the George Clooney Vera Farmiga relationship goes. I think that's pretty devastating. I just think it's a really, really well written movie, really well performed, and it's surprisingly rewatchable given the subject matter of this guy who goes around firing people. So I'll shoot my shot for Up in the Air. See what happens.
Alex, what do you say about Up in the Air?
I thoroughly love this movie personally. It's a movie that doesn't really come up all that often. I had to say no, however. It's incredibly quotable. I type with purpose. In my opinion, it's definitely a dramedy for sure. But yeah, like you said, heartbreaking characters. The whole thing with the ending with Vera Farmiga and George Clooney, I think is a very great ending. And the whole thing where the monologue George Clooney gives to J.K. Simmons when he's firing him. Oh my gosh. Oh, that scene. Masterclass in acting.
I'm 47 fucking years old. What do you want me to do? Yeah.
Why do kids look up to basketball players, professional athletes? To get the fuck models.
I like that one.
Yeah.
It's a great moment for sure. But personally, that's a no from me. But I would be ecstatic to see it on this list. But that's the thing.
Jacob, what do you say about Up in the Air?
Yeah, I think Austin and I are on the same page so far because I too love this movie. I also think it's well written. The dynamic between George Clooney and Anna Kendrick is really good. And the stuff with Vera Farmiga, everything that's been said, is how I feel about the movie too. So I'll just keep it short and sweet and give it a yes.
Jonathan, what do you say about Up in the Air?
Did you look at my piece of paper right here, Austin? I mean, so yeah. Alex said it. It's a comedy and drama. I mean, there's some comedy in it with Danny McBride. He's in it. But
Zach
also,
Galifianakis has a quick scene, but I mean, there's funny scenes.
Yeah,
but
there
I think
are funny
it's more
scenes.
of a drama than a comedy.
But also, there are 3 storylines going on that organically intertwine beautifully, dramatically as well. Yeah, Jason Reitman is definitely a fantastic writer at that time. With one other movie, but it's in my top 12. Yeah, Up in the Air. Yeah, it's in my top 12. It is a fantastic film. I'm gonna give it 100% yes.
Yay.
Yeah, this is one that I think I've seen. If I have, I haven't logged on Letterboxd. So, so I probably would have just gone with unseen, but it's making the list regardless. And we go to Alex.
Keeping on theme with foreign films, as I've mentioned before, I'm gonna go with y'all ever hear of The Departed? I'm going to go with the better version, known as
Infernal Affairs. Yeah.
Infernal Affairs. It's a wonderful movie starring, but not limited to, Tony Leung and Andy Lau. I'm sorry, I'm completely butchering his name, but it's a wonderful crime, a drama. Who's the mole? Who's the cop? And if you've seen The Departed was actually inspired and based off of Infernal Affairs. Infernal Affairs is actually a big old trilogy. And how you feel about the trilogy as a whole is moot point, but the first one is pretty amazing. But it is not only one of the best crime dramas. Honestly, I'm very confident in saying one of the best crime dramas you'll ever see. You'll be one of the best, in my opinion, one of the best, honestly, one of the best dramas you'll ever see, period. It is a masterclass in acting, performances, the thriller, the direction is it's amazing. There's a reason why Marty Scorsese took it and he's like, I want to make that. And that's coming from a director that is the king of Hollywood crime movies. So Infernal Affairs, the first one, is my choice.
Jacob, what do you say about Infernal Affairs?
Surprise, surprise. Haven't seen it, but you talked it up so much that I'm excited to check this movie out.
Good. That's the plan.
Jonathan, what do you say about Infernal Affairs?
Yeah, Alex, you mentioned one other movie that I deeply love, but there's another one I haven't seen because I just got it recently, the Infernal Affairs trilogy from Criterion. So I haven't opened it yet, so I am going to check it out soon because
Good.
this cover is great, and you know what, got it for the sale. I was like, you know what, I love crime dramas, especially Hong Kong crime dramas. So hey, but so I'm going to abstain.
Yeah. I've seen The Departed, haven't seen Infernal Affairs.
It's better
Austin,
than
what
The
do you
Departed. By that. And The
what
Departed's
do you
really
say?
good.
Austin, what do you say about Infernal Affairs?
Yeah, The Departed's good. Infernal Affairs is great. It rules. And again, much like Old Boy, maybe I'll be the only one who's dived into some Asian cinema and some Asian crime
Y'all
dramas.
need to expand that palette.
Yeah, because I really like Infernal Affairs. I would have said yes, Alex, but I had a feeling as soon as you said the name, I was like, oh yeah, but I'm probably going to be the only one who's seen it. But I appreciate the effort. I do.
Well, I'm
But
glad
Infernal
to be a
Affairs
little extra motivator for
Sure.
anyone that has
Yeah,
not
that's great.
seen it before and just hasn't got to it yet. Jonathan.
Just pointing at me.
I mean, I will say I do have a fun film in my list that may be coming up shortly. But Jacob, what do you what is your next nomination?
Yeah, this is one I debated bringing up because I think I'm going to be the only one that would say, yes, it's a top 12 drama of the 2000s, but I love this movie and I just want to bring it up. I love 8 Mile. I think 8 Mile is a fantastic movie. I think Eminem absolutely killed his performance as B Rabbit, Mekhi Phifer as kind of the best friend, and it's kind of a semi biopic, so to speak. Yeah, I think it's just one of those movies. Eminem is an artist that I grew up with. I listened to him when my parents told me, no, we don't want you to listen to him. You're only 10 years old. And I was like, okay. And then I did it anyway because I'm nice to my parents. I just disobey them behind their back. They don't watch this, so they'll never know. Unless they are, then hi, Mom. Hi, Dad. But I have a lot of fun with this movie. I think the rap scenes are really cool. The rap to Sweet Home Alabama, like I'll just listen to that randomly.
At home in a trailer.
Shout out to Michael Shannon. I think he's really good in the movie. Yeah, I'm not expecting anyone else to say yes to it, but I just wanted to show my love for 8 Mile.
Jonathan, what do you say about 8 Mile?
It is a good movie, but I don't think it's for me the top 12 of the 2000s good. It's a good, fun musical drama. I mean, most of the rap scenes are actually quite excellent. I actually listen more to the soundtrack than rewatch the movie. I mean, Lose Yourself is one of the best songs of all time, in my opinion. So it is a good choice. It is a good movie, but I'm afraid I'm going to say no.
Yeah. I really love 8 Mile. I think it's a good movie. I mean, it's one of those ones that well, yes, he is pretty much playing himself anyway, but it's also one of those ones like I looked at it, I was like, even not necessarily do more acting work. He actually can act. But I'm gonna give this a yes because yeah, I do think it is a good movie. Austin, what to say about 8 Mile?
Surprise, Jacob. It's in the 20, so you get a yes.
Whoa.
Bring up 8 Mile because it's on my list, and so you get it. You get the thumbs up. I do think it's one of the best dramas of 2000s. I think it's one of the most underrated dramas. I think Eminem is absolutely fantastic in what he does. He gives a really subtly great performance throughout the movie. I think the final rap scene is as exciting as any of the great Rocky fights at the end of those movies. I think it gets you as wrapped up or as hyped hyped up. Excuse me. You can say wrapped up too. Hyped up, wrapped up into the excitement. But yeah, I think the journey he goes through is really something. Love the dynamic he has with all the characters. Hey, it's on my 20, Jacob. You get a thumbs up from me. There you go.
Right.
And Alex, what would you have said about 8 Mile?
Fun fact: my husband used to work on 8 Mile. Temporarily, like when he had contract work out there. Anyway, okay. But that's a big old no from me. Personally, I think it's a fantastic music drama. You're not wrong, Austin. Those big old rap battles are pretty iconic for a reason. That being said, those, in my opinion, are the only iconic aspects about them. And the only real reason why I go back to rewatch it, I do think Eminem has a pretty solid performance. I don't think he's the best performance. If anything, I think Brittany Murphy, she's actually one of the stronger performances to take away. I'm like, what are you doing here, Hawkeye? Nah, not Hawkeye, but what's his face? Francis. What's his Francis name? He's an MC.
Anthony Mackie.
Anthony Mackie. Yeah, Francis. His real name is Francis. He goes to a private school. His parents aren't even divorced. The nerve. But yeah, that's a big old no from me. But I actually really love that you picked it.
And with that, we go back to Jonathan. Jonathan, what are you going to nominate next?
Wow, surprising we're halfway there quickly. Okay, so I need to bring this up then. This is in my opinion, one of the best films ever made. I think it just captures greed, obsession in a very haunting manner for me. So I'm going to nominate There Will Be Blood. It is an epic drama just about a man who just wants to, go for everything. I mean, go for power. I mean, he's not a very nice person throughout the film, even though he's seemingly nice. But director Paul Thomas Anderson and Daniel Day-Lewis, they're a 1-2 combo that is just masterful. It's just remarkable. This movie and then one of the movies the next decade, Phantom Thread, which is I think an underrated film from both of them. Yeah, There Will Be Blood. I think it's a masterpiece in my opinion, and I don't throw that word too much.
Yeah, I mean, I do like There Will Be Blood. Like, it's like a decent movie. It's just one of those ones that I just didn't gravitate to a lot. So I'm going to give this a slight no. Austin, what do you say about There Will Be Blood?
Dude, this should be like top 3 with a bullet pretty easily, like on this list. Yeah. Oh, it's a big yes. 100%. It's PTA's masterpiece. I rewatched it just a couple of months ago. I hadn't seen it in a long time. But yeah, the movie is phenomenal from start to finish. Not just the performance, man, the cinematography in this movie is some of the most gorgeous of the 21st century period. It's shot beautifully. The slight hints of score we get throughout the movie are great. Paul Dano probably should have won an Oscar for this movie too. I think he's spectacular in this movie as well. Just proves how great an actor he is as well. I just think this movie's superbly written. And yeah, I think this one, like when I was putting together my list, was in the first couple of ones I came up with. So yeah, it's a huge yes for me for There Will Be Blood.
Alex, what do you say about There Will Be Blood?
That's a no. No, just kidding. It's a yes. That's a yes for me, dog. Okay.
I drink your milkshake.
Yeah.
And go bowling too. No.
If you had said no, Jonathan would go, "I'm finished," and log off.
I can't remember who said it. I think it was Austin, where it said, "This is a movie I don't enjoy watching."
Yeah.
I don't like watching it. I watched it for the first time last year when I watched 300 movies I think it was 300 movies, first time watches last year. And this was on the list. But again, this is not a movie I enjoy watching just because it's a high intensity. It's such an angry film about toxic masculinity and how it limits you. And it talks about so many intense themes, hypocriticism, everything. There's so much. But that being said, you can't ignore or do away with just how impeccably made, performed it was. It's a very intense film. It's a beautiful film. I do not like it or enjoy it, but it's, gosh darn it, it sticks with you long after watching it. And I still I can remember entire scenes crystal clear after watching it like last spring for the first time. So it's a big yes.
And Jacob, what would you have said about There Will Be Blood?
Yeah, I could only imagine what the comment section would look like if 8 Mile made the list, but There Will Be Blood didn't. This movie, yeah, it's a masterpiece. Daniel Day-Lewis is fantastic. I too just recently came to it for the first time, and like all the praise I had heard about it, like it earned that, and then even more. This movie is fantastic, so I would give this a yes as well.
Yeah. Funnily enough, I also saw There Will Be Blood for the first time last year. But yeah, for my next nomination, I'm going to bring up one that I haven't got around to rewatching, but it's just one that I really loved the first time I saw it, and it's also one of those ones that might be a little bit harder to watch now the subject of this movie passed away just recently. And I'm talking about The Queen with Helen Mirren that came out in 2006. Just watching this movie is it's just electric. Like Helen Mirren really embodied Queen Elizabeth II in this with her portrayal, and just seeing sort of what the Queen sort of went through when the accident involving Princess Diana happened, and sort of how she was dealing with it and all that, her talks with Tony Blair and all that. It was just one of those ones that was a heartbreaking to watch, but it was just really good as well. Like, it's one of those ones because I think Helen Mirren played the Queen again in a actual play of something, a sequel sort of thing to this, and it's just one of those ones like if I had no idea who Helen Mirren was, I could watch this and think, oh yeah, it's the real life Queen Elizabeth II acting. But yeah, so I'm bringing up the Queen. I've no idea how this is going to go. Austin, what do you say about the Queen?
I'd love to talk about it if I've seen it. I've never seen it. It's just not a movie that's really in my wheelhouse that I would ever really sit down to see. Although with the passing of the Queen recently, and Cinephiles just did an episode with it, so I was thinking about watching it so I could listen along to that. I just didn't never get around to it, so I apologize, but I haven't seen it.
Alex, what do you say about the Queen?
I like the movie. I hate the woman, but you know, that's how it goes. That's a no from me personally. It's I think it's a fine movie. I thought it was incredibly boring when I watched it for the first time last year. I did watch it actually again semi recently as well, and I just thought it was incredibly boring throughout. It paints like a really interesting picture regarding the coldness and the harshness of the royal family and everything they had to go through especially during such a difficult time that they went through. But that being said, I fell asleep literally and ended up trying to pick up again like 2-3 times, and it was very difficult for me to watch. So that's a no for me.
Jacob, what do you say about the Queen?
Haven't seen it.
Jonathan, what would you have said about the Queen?
Sorry, I just got a tweet from an actor who played Scott Farkas. So yeah, it's Christmas Story Christmas. And check it out; it's actually a good sequel. The Queen. Yeah, Alex actually just said what I was gonna say. It's fine. It has a great performance. She deserved the Oscar, but the movie though, it was all right. So I'm gonna go no.
Austin, we go back to you.
Yeah, this is another personal pick that sometimes doesn't go anywhere on the show. I tried to do it for a person that stars in the movie, and I only got one yes. But I'm gonna go with the movie I just love to pieces. Is in my favorite movies of all time. Another Daniel Day-Lewis movie. I'm gonna talk about Gangs of New York. I love Gangs of New York. I think it's Scorsese's unheralded masterpiece, like that people don't give enough love to. Amazing period piece, and how he brings New York alive in this movie spectacularly. I mean, everything from all the practical sets of the 5 points. You are completely absorbed into this movie. I think it's one of DiCaprio's turning points of his career. This is one of the movies that helped him break out of the mold of the Titanic, heartthrob. And Daniel Day-Lewis's Bill the Butcher, I think, creates another one of the most spectacular villain characters of all time. He is mesmerizing in every single scene. Great side characters. You got John C. Reilly in there, Brendan Gleeson, Jim Broadbent, Henry Thomas. The list goes on and on. An amazing period piece that's entertaining from start to finish. So Gangs of New York is my nomination.
Alex, what do you say about Gangs of New York?
No. Sorry, bro. I can't get into this one. This is a hard watch for me.
The question will be is, what will Alex say yes to tonight?
No, I mean, like,
There will be blood. There will be blood.
Besides, there will be blood.
Hey, when am I going to get one on this list? But it doesn't matter. It's Gangs of New York. To me, actually, when it comes to his Scorsese's movies, when it comes to period films, I actually prefer Age of Innocence and Hugo significantly more than Gangs of New York. I think Gangs of New York, is a little underrated in terms of, especially with performance. It actually has my favorite opening scene from any Scorsese movie that I thought it was really, really great with Liam Neeson. I was like, hey, early baby Liam Neeson's still pretty sexy. But I think Cameron Diaz's performance is distractingly bad in my opinion. But also, like you said, it's definitely the transition point for Leonardo DiCaprio. But it's not a movie I just enjoy watching. It's not a movie I think is particularly good. But that being said, it's definitely an entertaining movie overall. I just don't think it's I don't think it should be in the conversation of the best Scorsese movies, let alone the best drama movies, or even Scorsese's dramas of the decade. So that's why.
Jacob, what do you say about Gangs of New York?
Yeah, I recently watched this for the first time earlier this year, actually, and I think Leonardo DiCaprio and Daniel Day-Lewis are fantastic.
Mhm.
I think, yeah. Cameron Diaz, I don't hate her performance, but the accent she's trying to do is a little but that's like my only nitpick with the movie. I'll give it a slight yes. I'll throw you a bone, Austin.
Jonathan, what do you say about Gangs of New York?
All right. I am a Scorsese fan. All right. So now, while compiling this list, I do have one in my top 12. Unfortunately, it is not it. I think it's a very good movie that is slipping for me a little bit because of some. I think it's a little long in places. And I think DiCaprio actually takes a step back because Daniel Day-Lewis really steals the movie. He basically is carrying the movie with his back on his back. But I do like the movie, but I don't consider it as one of his top tier films. Even over time, especially with other movies that came out a little later, for me personally, like The Wolf of Wall Street, Silence, and The Irishman. But yeah, and also I had watched The Age of Innocence for the first time, and I do agree with Alex. I think it's a little better for me. But yeah, for me, because I am a Scorsese fan, it's gonna be painful for me to say it, but I'm gonna have to say no.
Yeah, like for me, I do love Scorsese movies, but unfortunately, Gangs of New York is not does not fall in my top 10. I remember the first time I watched it, I just really wasn't into it. I rewatched it last year, and then realized I was a little bit too harsh on it, but it's still, for me, it's still not enough for me to say yes to it. So yeah, unfortunately, Gang New York does not make this list. And we move over to Alex.
Austin gave a movie I said no to, unfortunately, but I'm going to give you a movie that y'all are probably also going to say no to. So get excited. I'm actually going to pitch an animated drama. This is actually a war film. It is a movie called Persepolis. Actually it was nominated for, I don't know if it won or if it was just nominated for best animated film. It's a biopic drama war movie. It's set in the 90s during the Iranian Revolution, so kind of perfect timing to give it a nice rewatch. It actually tells a story of a girl that's coming of age during the revolution. Everything's happening during the transition period, and it's about everything that's going on. There's a point. It's based on a graphic novel. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful adaptation, but the animation is beautiful. The cinematography is stunning. The voice acting is really fantastic as well. There's these super dramatic, high intensity scenes that you can put it in the conversation of some of the best war films of all time, and if you have seen it, I will guarantee it will get in the conversation as some of your top war movies as well. It's the entire thing. It's from the perspective of a 11-year-old girl during the revolution, and she is going from a situation where she's never had to wear a hijab before, where she's going to school, where she has friends and family that she loves, to suddenly she has to wear a hijab that she's never worn before. She goes to a friend's house that's complete rubble, and she realizes the entire family of her friends have died. It's really intense, and it tells that story of not only of her and her family, a nuclear family, living in a situation, but her trying to move away as well during that situation. So it's really intense, it's emotional, it's impactful, it's dramatic, and you bawl your eyes out. But it is also an incredibly beautiful film as well. So, and it's animated. Go check it out. Even if you can't find it on a streaming service, find a way to pay for it. It is worth the $10. I will DM you. So please do self-service.
The money?
I'll DM you. I'll send you. I'll Venmo you. I mean, it's worth it. I love the movie that much. It deserves that love. It really does.
But Jacob, what do you say about Persepolis?
Yeah, this is one that's always interested me. I haven't gotten around to it. And yes, it was nominated for Best Animated, but it lost to Ratatouille. But yeah, no, I want to get around to it. Again, you talked so highly of it that I'm just even more excited to watch it now.
Jonathan, what do you say about Persepolis?
Yeah, what Jacob said, I heard of this movie, but I forgot what it was about. And then I was hearing and also reading a couple of synopses, and it caught my attention. It looks very interesting, so I basically added it to my watch list on Letterboxd, and I will check it out. So I will abstain, but I will check it out.
If you major suggestion, if you when it comes to war movies, it's always interesting to watch war movies from the stories from the perspective of children. So it's like, if you want to watch a World War II movie, watch Grave with the Fireflies.
So
I've seen it.
Come and See as well, a young teen boy in the Russian war film. Come and See is incredible as well. But that's
that's a masterpiece.
Yes.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, unfortunately, I also haven't seen it, but it's definitely intrigued me enough to want to watch it. But Austin, what do you say about Persepolis?
I hadn't heard of it, I hadn't seen it, so my apologies. So yeah, it is in the top. Yeah, of course. No, it's on my it's on my Voodoo watch list now. Yes.
Yeah, if I got y'all to put on that watch list, if I got y'all to Google or IMDb it, I got my goal. Achievement unlocked.
But Jacob, we go back to you for your next nomination.
Yeah, again, keeping with my theme of just talking about movies I love. You guys surprised me with 8 Mile, which I'm very happy made the list, but I'm gonna keep my expectations low still. I'm gonna go with Coach Carter. I love this movie. I think this is one of the best basketball movies. Samuel L. Jackson as Coach Carter is incredible. I think as Ken Carter, kind of the coach who he wants to win and like he's a good coach, but he's also like, no, I want you guys to succeed in life. So like this is my goal more so than winning basketball games. And I think it's just an interesting take on a coach who cares. Um, I think the basketball scenes are all really well done. Um, I think I gravitate more towards sports movies as well because like basketball is my favorite sport. So there may be a little bias there, but I love Coach Carter, and so cool.
Jonathan, what do you say about Coach Carter?
I have some sports dramas on my list. That's not one of them. I do not register with this movie, unfortunately. I do like Samuel L. Jackson's performance. I felt, except for one character, I felt like all of the characters were just one dimensional to me. All the kids' characters. I didn't really care as much for the basketball stuff as much as the educational stuff, which is actually that was interesting. I felt like it was in the hands of the wrong director for me. I felt like it was kind of in a low energy for me. So I'm gonna go no. So
Yeah, Jacob, I'm glad you prefaced basketball. Otherwise, I would have confused it with Get Carter, as I have on previous occasions.
the Sylvester Stallone remake.
but yeah, I have seen Coach Carter. This is another. I mean, I do like this movie. I just have to sadly say no. It's just not kind of outside the range that I'm looking at for myself. Austin, what do you say about Coach Carter?
It's fine, but it's not even one of my favorite basketball movies. I'd much rather watch White Men Can't Jump any day of the week.
I like them.
Yeah.
That is the better
Very.
movie, but it's not a 2000's drama.
I mean, any number of basketball movies I'd watch over Coach Carter, honestly. Yeah. Sorry, no. I have some sports stuff on here, Jacob. I almost consider 8 Mile like a sports movie. It's just an unofficial sport. But yeah, Coach Carter ain't on there, man. I'm sorry. It's not.
Alex, what would you have said about Coach Carter?
I thoroughly enjoy this movie. To be honest, I wouldn't put it in the conversation as the best dramas personally, but also I actually prefer some of his other. The writer, I can't remember, is John something, but he also wrote the script for Flight with Denzel Washington. But as well as but
John
also
Gaddens. John Gaddens.
Oh,
No, maybe.
right.
No, he's one of the writers. I don't know.
Yeah,
he wrote
I
Flight.
know.
He wrote
But
Flight.
also he also wrote one of my other favorite sports dramas, which is Hardball. I love Hardball.
I thought you were going to say Real Steel.
It's Real Steel. That's one of my favorite future sports movies.
He wrote that one too. So he likes sports
I love
movies.
Real Steel so much. so good. So much fun. But that's a note from me. Also, I gotta love me some Baby Ashanti and Channing Tatum. I mean, like Ashanti. Oh man, I'm obsessed.
But Jonathan, go back to you. What is your next nomination?
I'm looking at this panel. I'm between two of them. Oh boy. Ay. Because two of them, they're both in my top 100. But you know what? I'll go with this one because we have to nominate one we haven't done a 2000 movie yet. So this one came out in 2000, and it's basically a semi biographical story about a journalist writing for Rolling Stone, covering this fictitious rock band called Stillwater, and I'm nominating Almost Famous, directed by Cameron Crowe. This movie boy, it just makes you feel good. It makes you feel good when you're on the road with Stillwater and just basically hashing out almost every activity that is against true nature, but in the 70s. But also, you empathize with the characters along the way. Played beautifully by Billy Crudup, Kate Hudson as Penny Lane, who has his dream of going to Morocco. Yeah, Jason Lee, Anna Paquin, Fairuza Balk, and also Patrick Fugit as the lead actor. And then you have a couple of couple of funny familiar performances from Frances McDormand as the mom and Zoe Deschanel as the daughter, and that conflict basically is another story of itself, and it is resolved quite wonderfully at the end. Everything is resolved at the end, and also you have to point out Philip Seymour Hoffman as Lester Bangs, who gives one of the most touching, honest monologues in cinematic history, relating to coolness. So, yeah, Almost Famous. I'll nominate that one.
Yeah, I saw this for the first time this year actually. It's actually I actually quite like this movie. And yeah, so I'm going to give it a slight yes. Austin, what to say about Almost Famous?
I also only saw it for the first time this past year. It'd been one of my ones that had just kind of eluded me for a while. I blind bought the bootleg cut Blu-ray, the extended one. Watched it. I'm not there yet. It's fine. I thought it was all right. I wasn't over the moon about it as some other people are yet. I thought there were some good performances in there. I especially like when Jimmy Fallon shows up. I think he's actually really good in that movie. When he shows up, well, the bootleg cut, it's like 2 hours into the movie, but yeah, when he does, I thought it was good, but I'm not there yet as far as one of my favorites. So it's more of a personal thing. I'm going to say no.
Alex, what do you say about Almost Famous?
That's a big yes for me. In my opinion, I think it's a very subtle film. There's a lot of movies, especially when I think of really great performances, especially in terms of drama. Usually, we think of actors like now at least like Adam Driver, like big yelling moments, strong kind of thing. But this movie's all about subtle. I feel like very subtle acting. It's all about effective reacting, and it's just filled with all these lovely soft moments, like the singing on the bus. Tiny dancer. And it's just even if you're not familiar with the movie itself, I'm sure you're familiar with a lot of the scenes or the characters. Penny Lane's a very iconic character for a reason. And the character is 14 or 15 years old. Fun fact. So weird. But that just adds to the whole story, to be honest. But yeah, it's to me, it's a very beautiful music drama. So yes, love it.
And Jacob, what do you say about Almost Famous?
Yeah, I'm gonna give this one a yes as well. I came to it very recent as well, but I loved it. I felt all the performances were great. I kind of like enjoyed going on this journey with the journalist and the band. And yeah, Jimmy Fallon, like if he does something good, I feel like we should honor that. So you, Fallon.
Jacob.
Yeah.
Oh wait, what is that movie?
But yeah,
the Taxi is what he was going to say.
Taxi.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm trying to figure. Okay. Sorry. I'm trying to figure out. When you said that, I thought immediately of this one movie. Okay. Someone tell me it's the roller derby movie with Elliot Page.
Whip It.
Okay, he has like this cameo role as like the derby MC, and he's delightful. And he's like uncool, and he's trying to host like a party, an after party, and everyone's like, "No, you're not cool. We're not going to your party." But he's hilarious in it. But
yeah. No, I mean, I believe Jimmy Fallon recently had a cameo in Spirited that just recently came out.
Oh, I heard good things about it.
Yeah. But anyway, moving on. to me, I'm going to bring up a Nicolas Cage drama, which like
One.
I've watched a few times and I just think is really good because back in 2006, there was two movies that came out about the same incident that happened 5 years earlier.
Oh, that.
And
Uh,
yeah, and I was debating between myself which one to go, but I thought I'd go for World Trade Center because I think it takes the subject matter of September 11 and like deals with it in a respectful way, and I think like Nicolas Cage was actually really good in it, and I don't think it's just one of those ones that really shows the harrowing moments that those firefighters had to go by when they had to sort of go into those towers and try to help and all that. So yeah, and I think World Trade was a really good movie. And yeah, so Austin, what do you say about World Trade Center?
I only saw it the one time when I was in theaters. There's a reason I haven't gone back to it. It's just because when I thought there was some good performances and stuff, but I thought it was very kind of formula, just sort of by the books. I think it was a little too early to do a movie about it. Honestly, I think you do this movie maybe 10 years later has a little bit more of an impact. I just think it felt like it was just kind of a rush, like somebody just had a generic sort of story about firefighters and 9/11, rushed it out there honestly to try to capitalize on it, which sounds kind of gross, but I think it kind of feels like that when you watch the movie. I don't love it. It's fine. I'm going to say no.
Alex, what do you say about World Trade Center?
I will be abstaining as I have not seen it.
Jacob, what do you say about World Trade Center?
I will be doing the same.
Jonathan, what do you say about World Trade Center?
To move this along, Austin said exactly what I was going to say. So even under the hands of Oliver Stone, I don't think it was the right choice for me to direct this story, even though it is haunting. And it didn't work for me. So yeah, I'm gonna go no.
That's totally fair. I mean, at least movie makers weren't like what Tubi did and like just rushed the movie out the same year as the instant. I'm looking at new hot take.
Or they
also
could use it as like a random ending. Again, remember me.
Oh,
Remember where you were just like,
yeah, quite the twist, right?
why?
Yeah.
Why? Like, no.
Love you.
but anyway, Austin, what is your next nomination?
Yeah, I think I'll bring up one from one of my favorite directors, certainly maybe my favorite director going right now. I'm going to nominate 2009 Quentin Tarantino's Inglourious Bastards. Damn great movie. From the opening scene with the amazing Christoph Waltz, again another Oscar performance in that opening scene, which just kind of sets up the dread of the film, and you get opposite kind of performances, but still great with Brad Pitt and some of the bastards, and yeah, just this amazing film that it's sort of a fantasy film because it takes a different take as to what happened in World War II, but I think there's some incredible stuff here. Michael Fassbender's great, and just great Tarantino writing as usual. So I'll go with Inglourious Bastards.
Alex, what do you say about Inglourious Bastards?
It's one of my favorite war movies. Quite a bit. Honestly, it's a no from me, to be honest. I really, really do enjoy this movie quite a bit. But it's not one of my favorites of the decade. If it got on the list, I'd be happy about it. But I don't think it deserves to be in the conversation personally as one of the best dramas of the entire decade. I think it's a great drama. I don't know if it's in the conversation of the best though.
Jacob, what do you say about Inglourious Bastards?
I actually haven't seen this movie yet.
Wow, really?
I don't watch movies.
He's too busy watching Coach Carter for the third time. It's all good. I'm just messing with you, Jake.
But Jonathan, what do you say? But Jonathan, what do you say about Inglourious Bastards?
Ooh, why didn't I put this on my list? I hate to pull this card. Come back to me. Yeah, make this interesting.
Fight for it, Austin. Fight.
Hey, it's Quentin Tarantino. Damn it. That's all you got to say. It's great.
Yeah, I mean,
It's not Death Proof. I'm nominating Inglourious Bastards.
How dare you? I love that proof.
That proves it's not a drama. So I'll just...
Yeah.
But anyway,
Maybe not
I mean,
from your perspective, Jonathan.
I mean, I do love Inglourious Bastards. I do. Unfortunately, this does fall slightly outside. I'm not as in love with Inglourious Bastards as other people are. So I am going to give it a slight no.
Oh, okay. Well, I was going to say yes, to be honest, because because it features one of the most dramatically and suspenseful opening scenes I've ever seen. The 20 minutes goes by quickly because of Christoph Waltz's excellent performance as Hans Landa. It's just so dramatic, so suspenseful. Like that opening just is, masterful filmmaking right there. There are some scenes that are also masterful, but that one is probably one of the most masterful filmmaking scenes ever made. So I would have said yes and go with Austin on this one. So,
but unfortunately, it doesn't make the list. And we go to Alex.
If you're ever on YouTube and you Google like best movies of all time or maybe most beautiful movies of all time, this is pretty consistently in the conversation. I'm going to go with 2002's Hero. It is a Chinese film with Tony Leung, Zi Yang, and but it's a fantastical story of the emperor of a now recently unified China and an assassination attempt on his life. And it uses the Rashomon effect to tell from 4 different perspectives, 4 different stories. And you'll see there's different color profiles according to each person. There's blue, there's red, there's yellow, and green, and it's beautiful. It also includes these 4 assassins that involve them and how they worked together to see this happen. Now you can argue it's kind of a propaganda film because it's about the unification of China. It's like a whole thing. Jet Li's in it. He plays Nameless, the assassin that's out to get him, the final big assassin that's out to get him. But it is, again, it's a beautiful film. The cinematography is iconic for a reason. The performances are gorgeous. The martial arts in particular is some of the best martial arts you'll ever see in a film, without a doubt. With that being said, again, it's one of, in my opinion, it's in the conversation of one of the best movies of all time. But if not, it's in the conversation of one of the top 10 most beautiful movies of all time as well. But go see it. It's lovely. It's great. Every moment is like a scene you can plug on your computer forever. So go watch it right now.
Jacob, what do you say about Hero?
Never seen it, but I googled it. That cast, fantastic. The runtime, fantastic. This is only an hour and 20 minutes. That is right in my wheelhouse. It's streaming for free on Pluto, so I don't like the the commercials, but
it's fine. It's fine.
Jacob,
do some of the pictures look familiar to you though? Like some of the iconography, like it looks Come on, it looks familiar.
It does. It looks, yeah.
Right.
And just
Right?
because of how passionate you were about this movie, I don't usually do this, but I will give it a yes.
Um,
Oh my God.
Jonathan, what do you say about Hero?
Okay, I have seen it. Yeah. It is in my honorable mentions. Because of how gorgeous and spectacularly gorgeous it is. The cinematography is fantastic, and it does use a Rashomon storyline
Mhm.
to effective use. However, it does lose focus in the narrative at times for me, because of Zhang Yimou. I think that's how you pronounce it. Zhang Yimou. Or yeah, that's how you pronounce it. Okay, Zhang Yimou loses the narrative focus and just focuses more on the action, the scope of it. A little too much, in my opinion. You're kind of close to what I may have on the list, though. But Hero is not one of them. But it is a very good movie. But I'm gonna go no.
Jonathan, I say this with all due respect and with all the love in the world. As a good friend of mine, you can fuck right off. Okay? You can fuck right off.
um,
You and your opinion on that movie.
but yeah, yeah. I actually think I've seen this once a right long time ago.
That's really kind of
there's-
surprising.
yeah, I was probably on TV one night and was just watching something it just happened to be on. I was like, I'll keep it on there. But yeah, I'm also going to break tradition, even though I'm not sure if I've seen it. I'm going to give it a yes. Alison, what do you say about Hero?
Well, if you were mad at Jonathan, you're gonna be mad at me. I don't like movies like Hero and House of the Flying Daggers and Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. I kind of hate those movies. I don't like people. I don't like people. I just don't like that job. I don't like people flying around with swords, hopping up on trees, spinning 800 circles in the air, horse shit. Like I hate that stuff, and I don't care how good the screenplay is or the performances. I just hate that shit unless they're in the Matrix. I don't like it, and I usually will give them all at least one watch. I will give them all at least one. I have seen Hero. I've seen Crouching Tiger. I've seen House of Flight. Like Alex, I've even seen the 4-hour Red Cliff. Okay, I'll give them at least one shot. Okay, I've seen the 288-minute version of Red Cliff. Okay,
I 100% understand.
I give them a chance. I just don't like that shit. I don't like those movies. So sorry.
Totally get it.
No.
When it comes,
Yeah.
when it comes to those movies, I understand it. A lot of it is sentimental for me. I'm Asian,
Yeah.
and so I grew up with a
Right.
lot of these like movies like this, Crouching Tiger, things like
Sure.
that.
No, I get it. It's not for me.
Like
It's
I
not for
remember
me.
being told growing up, like these movies are important. You need to watch this kind of thing. So I have a very different mentality
Hey,
going into it.
I'm over the moon
Like,
about
totally
Oh Boy and Infernal Affairs. That's my alley. I love it. I love like
love
really
that you love
revenge
it.
dramas and revenge movies and crime dramas. But that shit, that's for the birds for me.
Sure,
Like I don't
sure.
like that stuff. Sorry.
There's nothing wrong with that. I love that.
Yeah.
But with that, Hero does make this list.
Ranking is going to be interesting.
Yeah.
Somehow.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm
given
happy I
what
got
happened
one
here.
on the list. Ecstatic. Ecstatic.
but
You got one. Alex got one. Good for you. Good
but
on
that
you.
we go back to Jacob. Jacob, what is your next nomination?
Yeah, I'll go from one sport to another. I'll go from basketball to football, and I'm gonna bring up Remember the Titans.
Ooh.
If Coach Carter is one of my favorite basketball movies, Remember the Titans is one of my favorite football movies. I think Denzel Washington as Herman Boone is really good. Great story. I mean, who didn't watch this in high school at least 3 times? I think most of us did. If you were in high school after the movie came out, it's just it's a good not only football movie but just a movie about race, and I think it's really rewatchable. So Remember the Titans.
Jonathan, did you remember the Titans?
Yes, I remember the Titans. Yeah, they won against the Packers. Yeah. Basically, Three of my choices got knocked out a little bit because of what happened with 8 Mile and Whale Rider. So next on the board though was Remember the Titans. So for me, it is a personal childhood favorite of mine. This is one of the first sports movies I've watched when I was a child, and I still do to this day because I am a Denzel fan. I think he has one of the best performances of his career with that movie. And it's very interesting for him to be in a Disney movie of this sort. But also, it is a very impactful drama about not just sports, but about race relations and everything else. And he and Will Patton, they have a good dynamic with each other. And also, you have a good supporting cast, a few interesting names like Kip Pardue and Ryan Gosling, Donald Faison. Yeah, I think he's in that. And Hayden Panettiere as well. You know what? Yeah, I'll give it a yes to Remember the Titans.
Yes. I don't fully love Remember the Titans. I'm going to go no on this one. Austin, what do you say about Remember the Titans?
I'm on the border because it's like in my honorable mentions. It's not on the actual 20. Only because I rewatched it again within the last year. Everything worked except for the fact that I think the racial commentary is very surface level when you watch it.
Well,
Like there's no depth to it at all. It's like, hey, segregation bad, cool. Racism bad. You know what I mean? There's like no depth to it at all in the movie. It's just like, there's nothing that it doesn't say a whole lot. It's just kind of a lot of like Denzel's very, very strong and very good. And it's a solid sports movie. Sure. Yeah. Sure. It's more of a nostalgia pick, but sure. Yeah. I don't think it's held up as well over 20 years though. I'll say that.
Alex, what do you say about Remember the Titans?
Na 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 na.
I don't think we want to get flagged for this video because
We can get flagged for that, really?
well, you never know.
You never know.
I mean, C2A hasn't already did this stuff, but it don't matter. I grew up watching this quite a bit. This is actually one of my dad's favorite movies of all time. It's one of those I was quizzed on pretty often with the quotes and everything. I mean, but that being said, I'm gonna vote no for this because I agree with Austin here 100%. I feel like a lot of it's very surface level.
That's Disney.
And I feel like looking back, I think there's a lot of really good moments. I think it's a really bad biopic, but it's a really good movie. But it feels very, yeah. I mean, there's nothing more to say on it. That's Austin summed it up pretty effectively.
I believe it's
no for me in that case, though.
Yeah, I believe it's still got 3 yeses, so it makes the list.
Yeah, I forgot. I was kind of hard. As like, did I say yes or no?
I said yes to the last. My childhood said yes.
Yeah.
It's not so much the adult me; it's the child in me said yes.
There's 2 yeses and
I had it on VHS. I watched the movie a million times. Like I get it.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Yeah.
But Jonathan, go back to you.
Someone on this panel is going to be very happy of what I'm going to bring up. So we have 3 of my 4 locks in. It's top 12 in my opinion. And I'm going to bring up my final lock, and it is a sequel. 2004's Before Sunset. I'm going to nominate that one. Richard Linklater's second chapter of the Before trilogy. I see that face. Basically, we reconnect with Celine and Jesse 9 years later after the events of Before Sunrise, and Jesse is an author, and Celine, Celine is like basically an environmentalist in a way. She's involved in environmental activism. They meet again in Paris in the bookstore, and they just basically reconnect. And what they're up to, and what would happen, and what happened if he had jumped off the train to meet Celine again. Thank you, Chad. Yeah, I think this is one of the most underrated, but I think one of the best sequels ever made. Basically, you just are enamored by the characters and also Richard Linklater's direction and dialogue. It doesn't feel like it was a written screenplay. It feels like I'm eavesdropping into their conversations. That's how good it is. And it's basically about their romantic feelings blossoming and then kind of dipping down, but then there's blossomed again, and we end on a very poignant final scene that is just wonderful. And while they're listening to a Nina Simone song in the background, and it's lovely. It's a lovely romantic drama. So I'm gonna take my shot for Before Sunset.
Yeah, the Before trilogy has been one of my biggest blind spots. And I promise by the time we get to the dramas of the 90s, I'll actually get around to watching them. But yeah, I just haven't seen Before Sunset. Austin, what do you say about Before Sunset?
I really should get around to those movies at some point, but I've never seen any of them. Sorry.
Alex, what do you say about Before Sunset?
I think my reaction I was kind of giving during his pitch is enough. It's not only one of my favorite romances of all time, but also it's. I actually literally argued it during a general thing with the Action Guys a few years ago as the best trilogy of all time. Somehow I won, but in my opinion, it is the best trilogy of all time for 1,000,001 different reasons. But like you said, the conversation, the writing is pretty fantastic. It's beautiful. And somehow not pretentious about its writing style the way whereas like a lot of writers, I feel like Sorkin and P.T. Anderson and whatnot, I mean, they have a very different writing style, but I mean, it does come across a certain way where it feels a little unbelievable. But with Linklater's writing here, in combination with Hawk and
Julie Delpy.
Julie Delpy. It feels very, very honest, very truthful, and I feel like it's incredibly relatable for a lot of people. A lot of these conversations out there. So that's a big old fat yes, Jonathan. Obviously, love it. Thank you for nominating this. I love this book. Thank you.
Jacob, have you seen Before Sunset?
I really should get around to watching these movies.
Oh, no. Heartbreaking.
That did remind me though, Jonathan. While it's on sale, I'm buying the trilogy on Criterion right now though, because I need to get around these movies. So
yes.
I'm gonna add it. I have 2,000 movies next to me. I should have that trilogy set next to me.
I will say this: they're all short. They're all short movies.
Sweet.
Yeah, you can.
I think Sunset is the shortest.
Or even like an afternoon. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so it's back on me, and for my next nomination, I'm actually going to bring up one I'm pretty sure it was Alex that put me onto this in the first place. I'm bringing up 2007's Waitress. Like, while this is listed on Wikipedia as a comedy drama, I think it's more dramatic than comedy. So I think this definitely works as a drama. But yeah, basically, like the premise of this is about a young woman trapped in a small town who ends up getting an unwanted pregnancy while working as a waitress. This is one of those a movie that like I didn't know if I was going to like going in, because I've heard a lot about it, just haven't got around to it. But when I went in to watch this, like all the acting was great, and unfortunately, this was this was directed by Adrian Trelli, who also does appear in this movie. Unfortunately, this was her last movie because before she unfortunately passed away later. But like Kerry Russell was great in this. Dave Fillion is actually really good in this too. And yeah, it's just a really good movie. And yeah, and especially in this day and age, it does have a lot to say. Austin, what do you say about Waitress?
As somebody who worked in the food industry, I really should get around to this movie at some point. I've seen Waiting. I haven't seen Waitress.
Alex, what do you say about Waitress?
I love this movie so much. I feel like it doesn't age well in some ways, but I don't care watching this. I love it quite a bit, and especially after having a baby this past spring, it hit me in the feels that much more with a lot of things she's going through. But yeah, that being said, yes.
Jacob, what do you say about Waitress?
I remember watching this, and that's all I remember about it. I haven't revisited it since the one time I watched it. So unfortunately, I'm gonna have to say no.
Jonathan, what do you say about Waitress?
Well, this is the first time, except Alex, that a movie has been brought up that I have not seen. So, yeah, I'm gonna have to abstain.
Thank you for nominating Malcolm. I appreciate it.
It's all good. But yeah, unfortunately,
I do
Waitress doesn't
remember
make.
liking it.
Yeah,
I do remember it being a good movie.
yeah. Unfortunately, Waitress doesn't make this list, and we go back to Austin.
I'll bring up one that probably shouldn't be on this list that hasn't been brought up yet. I'm not a big Coen Brothers fan, but I love No Country for Old Men, and I think it probably should be on this list. I think it's because it has elements of kind of a neo-noir western in there, which I dig. Stuff like that. And Hell or High Water is kind of up my alley. There's a lot of Sergio Leone in this movie. I think it's really brilliantly well written. One of the great all-time villain performances with Javier Bardem's Anton Chigurh, and just a phenomenal supporting cast. This is the movie that really, for me, put Josh Brolin on the map for me. I didn't really grow up with the Goonies, so I didn't really know Josh Brolin that well. But this is the one where I took notice of him and was like, all right, this guy's going to be on my radar, and I'll watch anything he does. I mean, Woody Harrelson, Tommy Lee Jones. What else should you say? No Country for Old Men.
Alex, what do you say about No Country for Old Men?
I'm not a big fan of westerns. To be honest, I'm not a big fan of the Coen Brothers or whatnot as either. Austin. That being said, I love this movie. I really do. I actually am not a huge fan of Hell or High Water. I gave it a 2 out of 5 stars.
Wow.
I know. It just didn't click for me, but I understand. I get the appeal, but No Country is it's iconic for a reason. It's not only very. I think the cinematography is absolutely stunning, but the individual acting performances is wonderful. The coin scene at the gas station is a scene. It's such a great standalone scene. Even if you haven't seen the movie, that scene alone will give you everything you need to know, not only about the character, but what's going on. But yeah, a lot of really great performances across the board as well. Tommy Lee Jones is actually one of my favorite performances by him in particular as well. But yeah, that's a big ol' fuck yes for me. Brilliant.
Jacob, what do you say about No Country for Old Men?
Absolutely. Yeah, I would give this a yes just for Javier Bardem's performance alone. Like, he absolutely kills it in this movie. And yeah, the supporting characters around, all around great movie. Very, very deserving of Best Picture of the year it came out. I have a couple friends that are like, no, that movie's like boring. And I'm like, listen, don't talk to me for at least the next 3 days.
You don't know shit.
Jonathan, what do you say about No Country for Old Men?
I forgot to put it on my list. Ooh, that was an oversight. But this would have been a lock for me because I love this movie. This is another masterpiece. And look, it is rare to have two masterpieces come out at the same time with There Will Be Blood and No Country for Old Men. And even at 2 of the 5 going for Best Picture. I mean, look, you could debate which is better. I mean, but and also it is very funny that No Country for Old Men was shot at the same time as There Will Be Blood. There is a scene where you see a dark cloud in the distance, and it's basically the oil rig scene. But yeah, I forgot to put on the list. So yeah, hell yes, it's going in the top 12. Yeah, this is an excellent movie. I think one of three favorite Coen brothers top films.
Yeah, like I said, I don't love the Coens, but I love this movie. Like, I only like a couple of Coen movies, and this is one of them. Like, for whatever
All
reason.
I'm hearing, Jonathan, is that you need to get your shit together. Also,
I
with
know,
that.
right? Hey, it's a minor
flipping
oversight.
here?
It's a masterpiece. It's an excellent
Great.
movie.
But yeah, No Country for Old Men has made the list. I would have been a slight no, and it's not because I don't like the movie or anything. I do actually like the movie. It's just that
Heads
it's
or
just
tails?
out
No.
like
Yeah.
oh yeah, no, it's because I lost all my money in a coin toss once. That's why I hate No Country. But with that, we've got one spot left. Alex, we go back to you. What is your next nomination?
Dude, I'm still amazed. I have one on here, so I'm like, I didn't. I'm like, what? I don't know what to do with myself. I'm gonna go with I'm gonna go with a whole different movie. A lot of people are really psyched up on this Star Wars show called Andor, and they really love this kid named Diego Luna. So I'm gonna really recommend this nice little coming of age drama called Y Tu Mama Tambien from 2001. It is a beautiful movie from Mexico. About these two boys, or like they're high school age, like they're about to go into college, and they take this a few weeks over summer to go on this road trip, and it's a coming of age tale. And during that time, they meet this woman. She is like in her late 20s, early 30s. She's experienced a little bit more in her life, but she also has some other stuff of herself going on. And they end up taking this trip together to get to a very specific beach location. But it's about the relationship. There's a lot going on in this. I feel like I don't know how to describe it. It's something you have to watch. It's a beautiful film. The writing is spectacular. The acting performances are spectacular. There's a reason why a lot of the actors that involved end up becoming household names, not only in Mexican cinema, but you recognize them pretty well known here in Hollywood. But I recommend it. It's fantastic across the board. So, Y Tu Mama Tambien.
Jacob, what do you say for Y Tu Mama Tambien, or as it's known in English, And Your Mother Too?
Yes.
I don't think this is going to be a surprise to anyone when I say I haven't seen this movie.
Jonathan, what do you say about And Your Mother Too?
What did you say?
Not trying to butcher the Spanish title again.
I have seen it, but a long time ago. So I do need to revisit the movie, but it is a really good movie. It is a tough movie to rewatch, though. It is one of those. Yeah, it is one of those. But it is a very, very good movie from Alfonso Cuarón. I'm gonna go a slight no, but I just need to rewatch it. Yeah, just for that reason. But it is a really good movie that I do recommend.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, unfortunately, I also haven't seen this. This has been one I've been wanting to check out, though, just because it is directed by Alfonso Cuarón, who 2 years later was going to do Prison of Azkaban. But just looking at the cast, you got on one side you got Cassian Andor, then on the other side you got Jack Russell, or Werewolf by Night as well. So two actors who have kind of gone to big franchises recently. But it's just one that I just haven't got around to tracking it down yet, and but yeah, I'm definitely going to try and watch it at some stage. But Austin, what do you say about Ichu Mama Tambien?
I'm in a similar boat as Jonathan. I saw it, but like 20 years ago when I was like way too young to appreciate it as a movie. Because I think I just heard that there was like sex scenes in it, so I rented it from Blockbuster and like fast forwarding a lot. So yeah, I just I was like 16 when I rented it, and I'm 36 now. I need to go back and watch it as a movie, like to really actually appreciate it.
Now you can fast forward faster, very quick.
Yes, right.
Streaming.
Yeah, I haven't seen it in like 20 years, and I don't remember much about it, and I couldn't give it a confident yes. So yeah.
Well, Austin, something I'm kind of curious about when it comes to movies, certain movies. Do you think movies like that? Do you think it's good to watch it right away and then wait a long time and then see it again, or do you feel like you should not watch it at all until?
I rented it for the wrong reasons. I probably wouldn't have rented it for any other reason. like I probably wouldn't have just not seen it, and like I would have seen it by now if I was just being a cinephile. Like I would have just watched it on its own because I've heard good things about it.
You never had watched it?
Probably because but that's one of the reasons I need to rewatch it though. Now 20 years later, I need to rewatch it. So I probably will. I most likely will.
To translate from a teenager's mind, it's a horny film.
Yes.
Well, it is a coming of age from the point of view of two boys, so.
Yes.
Yeah, true.
Mm-hmm.
But with that, now that I know sex scenes in it, I'm probably going to try and find it fast. But we've still got one spot left. Jacob, we go back to you.
Yeah, and I don't think this one's going to make it, but I love this movie, and that's just kind of what I've been going for today. So I'm going to bring up Alpha Dog. I think Alpha Dog is a really good movie. I'm a lot higher on it than most people I know, but I'm okay with that. It's about a guy who owes money to these guys, and so they kidnap his younger brother. So the guy who owes money is Ben Foster, and the younger brother is Anton Yelchin. And then, gone way too soon. He's incredible. He's really good in this movie. They owe money to Johnny Truelove, played by Emil Hirsch, and he's got his friends. Justin Timberlake is one of them. Who gets they get their drugs from their dad, Sonny, played by Bruce Willis. I mean, the cast is stacked. Looking back on like in 2006, there's a lot of big names in this movie, and it's just based on a true story. I think the names were changed though to protect identities and whatnot. But I had a really good time with it, even though I like Anton Yelchin is just trying to hang out. He's just hanging out with these guys. Like they come to like him, and it's just a really good movie with really good performances and a heartbreaking ending. Like that ending. It's close to the end when spoilers.
Just say what happens to Anton Yelchin. You don't have to go into it too much. Yeah.
I mean, I don't really care as much about spoiling a 15-year-old movie, but if you haven't seen it, something happens to Anton Yelchin, and
only because I think it's still an underseen movie, underappreciated.
That's true.
That's what I would say. Yeah. All right.
Underseen, and I think we should fix that.
Yeah.
But Jonathan, what do you say about Alpha Dog?
So when I first watched it, I had very low expectations of this movie, and I saw the trailers. I thought it was pretty bad. I thought it looked bad. And then I watched it. It's a good movie, directed by Nick Cassavetes, and it has a very good cast, a very strong cast. Emil Hirsch, Bruce Willis, Sharon Stone, Justin Timberlake, great performance. Ben Foster, fantastic. Olivia Wilde, and I believe, oh God, what's her name?
Amanda Seyfried.
Amanda Seyfried, thank you. Yeah, she's in it as well. It has a very good cast. But I don't, even though it is a good movie, I don't declare it as one of the top dramas of the 2000s. But I wouldn't say no, but I do recommend it because it is an underseen film that I think people should watch. I wouldn't say watch the trailers though, because it's pretty iffy, but I would say watch the movie. It is sad, but I did watch them.
Yeah, I mean, I wonder if people just didn't see it because they confused it with under the animated Underdog movie. But,
Completely
I
different.
don't think there is a dog in Alpha Dog, but
but
Maybe
yeah,
No, but there is somebody that poops on the carpet.
oh, that's right. I forgot about that.
But anyway, this is a movie I just haven't got around to seeing. It's been one that I've wanted to see. It just haven't had a chance. Austin, what do you say about Alpha Dog?
Yeah, I'm going to give it a slight no, only for Jonathan's reasons that I don't think it's one of the top ones of the decade. But I will give a hearty recommendation to Alpha Dog if you have not seen it. I will say it is kind of a criminally underseen movie. It is one that will surprise you when you watch it. I just don't put it in that category. I don't have it on my 20 or anywhere, even in the honorable mentions or anything like that. But I do think it's a really good movie, and I think people should check it out, especially if you want to see more of Anton Yelchin. You haven't gone back in his filmography a little bit, for sure.
And Alex, what would you have said about Alpha Dog?
I would have to abstain because I have not seen it.
Yeah.
So, but thank you so much, Jacob. I will put it on my list to watch ASAP. Do you know where it's streaming?
It is on. Well, it's on Hulu, but you need to have a premium subscription. So I don't know what.
It's
I
just
have that.
yeah.
Noted.
Okay.
It is on Hulu.
Yeah.
What's a premium subscription? So I'm sure it's like it's going to direct you to one of their streaming services that they're affiliated with. But,
Yeah, it's not showing Hulu, but
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm sure I'll find it somewhere.
But anyway, Jonathan, go back to you.
oh boy. Okay, one spot left. A lot of good ones that I love. I'm not gonna go for that one. I want something a little out of the radar. Okay, so this genre of fantasy, I'm usually not in the ballpark for those types of movies, but the fantasy mixed with drama and war are very well done. And somebody on this panel alluded to it that is kind of similar to this movie that I'm going to talk about. And you said Persepolis, right, Alex?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So it's a foreign film. So yeah, I'm going to bring up a foreign film. I'm going to bring up Pan's Labyrinth from Guillermo del Toro. Yeah. So it is kind of the same story, but it's basically it's about this young girl who is suffering like unimaginable cruelty, because she's moving in with her mother with a new stepfather who is one of the most unbelievably terrible villains in the 21st century for sure. You could put him with Anton Chigurh. I think they would have either the best of friends like hang out or the worst of friends hang out. So you never know. But basically to escape from reality from this war, she just goes into this fantastical world of this labyrinth, and she meets a faun, and basically this journey is about just saving her and her mom. So yeah, this is not in my wheelhouse of the fantastical of the fantasy genre, because again, I don't register with that genre as much, but I think this is one of the few films in that genre which I declare as excellent, and I think it is Guillermo del Toro's masterpiece, which is a director that I run hot and cold with. But yeah, I'm gonna go for it. I'm gonna go for Pan's Labyrinth.
I haven't got around to seeing Pan's Labyrinth before. I mean, I've seen the trailer; it looks interesting. Del Toro is one of those directors in which that I haven't really liked what I've seen. A lot of what I've seen from him, I think Shape was probably the only one I kind of enjoyed. But yeah, Austin, what do you say about Pan's Labyrinth?
So I just came to Pan's Labyrinth within the last year, actually. Me and Henry Sanchez did a ranking of Del Toro. I'm not as hot on Del Toro either overall. Like, I think he has better ideas than he has movies, personally. When Mimic is one of my favorites just because it's a straight up horror movie. It's one of my favorites of Del Toro. That should tell you something. But I wasn't as hot on Pan's Labyrinth as everybody else in the internet community seems to be. I thought it takes way too much time in between all the fantasy stuff. I kind of just wanted to keep getting back to that, but I feel it kind of loses sight of it for a while. And like, I just kept wanting to go back in there. We kept pulling back and like just doing this other story, with the captain guy, who's a good villain, but I was more interested in the stuff that he wasn't showing me. I'm not as hot on it. I have to say no, but I get it. It's just, I don't think it's really a movie for me. I'm not as big on fantasy either. So,
But Alex, what do you say about Pan's Labyrinth?
It's a big yes for me. I thoroughly enjoy this movie. I am part of the hugely vocal, passionate internet crew that loves this movie. I actually really like that it's very hot and cold when it comes to getting into perspectives of the real world versus the fantasy world, because in my head it's because it's from the point of view of a 12-year-old girl or whatnot.
Mhm.
And she doesn't know a lot of this stuff that's going on around her. She's caught up in her own world for good reason. Um, uh, and I would have been a little disappointed, maybe not disappointed. I would have been very surprised if we had more information regarding everything going on with her stepfather and whatnot. Considering how little she would have known, realistically, in theory, at least. But I think it's absolutely beautiful. I think the actual fantasy aspects, the scenes are absolutely startling. The creature design is beautiful. Oh my gosh, terrifying. Even if you don't care about that movie, that whole sequence is terrifying.
the sequence is great. That was the best thing.
Terrifying.
Yeah.
That's a full-on horror movie right there. But I think it's pretty fantastic overall. I love it.
But Jacob, what do you say about Pan's Labyrinth?
I really should watch more movies.
But unfortunately, Pan's Labyrinth isn't going to make this list, and it falls
Wild
onto
card.
me.
That was my wild card.
But yeah, I'm going to bring up a movie which I'm personally surprised Jacob didn't bring up yet. And it's Sweeney Todd, the Demon Barber of Fleet Street, which is a horror musical drama. And look, I think this is a done great, and it's just one of those, like, Tim Burton is really good when it comes to these sort of dark style movies, and Johnny Depp is always great in what he does. Like, he does have some movies where, I mean, it's not good, but I still maintain that he's still the best part of those movies. And yeah, like the cast is stacked. Like, you've got a lot of really real actors in here, like Alan Rickman, and Timothy Spall, and it's just one of those movies which I think the drama of it really does shine a lot in this. So I'm going to shoot my shot here for this. Austin, what do you say about Sweeney Todd?
Jacob knows what I'm going to say about Sweeney Todd.
You could have just skipped Austin. Wasn't necessary.
I'm not a musical guy. I watched it this past year. I think the first hour of this movie is pretty incredibly boring. It does pick up when it gets to the killing, which is what I was like waiting for. I like all the horror stuff when he's killing people and dumping them down the chute. It's great. Sound design.
This is what I told you. I was like, you like that part, but I don't know about the rest of the movie.
I told Jacob when we did our show and we had it on this thing we were talking about. I was like, man, if I could have a cut of like 45 minutes of this movie to watch, I'd be down. But I didn't like the music. Yeah, no, sorry. No, Jacob's gonna say yes, but that's up to the rest of y'all. I know.
Yeah, Alex, what do you say about Sweeney Todd?
I thoroughly enjoy this movie quite a bit. I think it's fantastic. It never occurred to me that it's arguably a drama. So I mean, it makes sense. Just never occurred to me. I've always thought of it as more like more almost like a really dark comedy. But I really thoroughly love this movie. I wouldn't put it in the top. That's not because of the lack of really great acting or anything like that. I just think the vocal performances are distractingly bad in some cases. Personally,
Hmm.
and especially with some of the individual songs, I think Johnny Depp as the lead is fantastic. He's perfect casting. Alan Rickman, wonderful. Timothy Spall, yes. Helen Bonham Carter, she is perfect. However, she is such a bad. I wish someone did the voice for her, did the vocal performances for her in particular. But that's a no for me.
Jacob, what are you going to say about Sweeney Todd?
Yeah, the reason I didn't bring it up is because I don't think of it as a drama. I think of it as more of a horror musical. Yeah, sure, there's elements of drama, but that's not what I focus on. That's more of the horror aspect and the musical aspect of it that I really love. So this may surprise some of you, but I don't think it's a top 12 drama of the 2000s. But damn, do I love this movie!
But it's one of his top 12 movies of his.
It is. I don't gravitate towards the drama of it. It's the horror musical aspect of it, and so the music. I have the soundtrack on Spotify, and I listen to it quite a bit.
And Jonathan Ward
needs to be in more musicals.
He's fun in that movie.
He's fantastic. Perfect casting.
Jonathan, what would you have said about Sweeney Todd?
It's one of my favorite Tim Burton films. A director that again, like Del Toro, I sometimes run, on cold, lately cold, but this is one of my top 3 favorite Burton movies, and also one of my top favorite musicals, a genre that I don't register with. I rewatched this in October. Definitely one of the best horror musicals ever made. I think personally my favorite, but how many horror musicals? Yes, I will agree with Jacob that it's not a top 12 drama in my opinion. I think it would have been. It's in my honorable mentions, but it's not a top 12 drama.
And with that, we go Austin. We go back to you. Do you have the movie that's going to take up the last spot?
We'll see. I'm going to go with the movie I rewatched yesterday. I just wanted to refresh myself. Oddly enough, another 20-year-old movie from 2002. I'm going to go with The Pianist. I think it's a really, really solid movie. Adrian Brody is downright devastating in this film. To see what he goes through, it's up my alley only because it's a survival film. It's literally just him trying to survive, until this war is over. And what you see him trying to survive around him is devastating. I think it has one of the most beautiful shots ever put to film when he finally walks through this war-torn Warsaw at the end of the film, and it's just absent of color, and it's just completely wiped out, and it's incredible to watch. I think it's not on the same level as like a Schindler's List, but I think it takes a different angle to it, seeing it from the ground level, and I think it's a really devastating film, but one of triumph, and I think it's a really great film. So I rewatched it yesterday, and I put it on my list. So I'm gonna go with The Pianist.
Alex, what do you say about The Pianist?
I'm gonna say yes. I think this is I hate Roman Polanski. He's for a million. This is a very hard watch.
Fair.
I've only seen it a few times. I remember watching it when I was in high school. I watched it several years ago, forgetting that it was directed by Roman Polanski, and I was like, "Fuck." I do not want to like this movie, but I think it's a beautiful movie. It's a heartbreaking movie. I think it's one of the best films regarding World War II that we have. Period. Especially the scene regarding like him prepping the bean.
And he's just making like 6 beans in a pot like to eat, and you see him just on it like he's literally a day from death, maybe, and he's just trying to ration what he's got. It's devastating.
And he puts on like the Nazi jacket because he's cold, and he goes out and they start shooting because he's wearing it.
And it's almost a night of the Living Dead ending where they almost pop him at the end for like the wrong reasons. Yeah.
It's frustrating how great of a movie it is, despite it's by someone that I thoroughly have a hard time getting past. But yeah, so it's yes.
Jacob, what do you say about The Pianist?
I think they should put this movie back on Netflix so I can watch it because it was on Netflix. I was like, ooh, I should watch that before Sunday because I've heard nothing but great things about it. Went to Netflix and it is no longer there. That's how I feel, dogs.
That's why you own the Shout Select Blu-ray, now on sale. Physical media, people, invest.
Jonathan, what do you say about The Pianist?
It has been quite a long time since I've seen it. It is a devastating film, yes, yeah, and also like Alex, like I had forgotten like who directed it. I was like, oh, him.
Yeah.
But look, he won the Oscar that year, and
Let's not bring that up. Let's not bring it to the Oscars.
Yeah, I mean,
and their treatment of horrible people.
Yeah, I mean,
of knowing.
I'll bring up Adrian Brody won the Oscar, but he's great.
In a surprise, by the way, in an upset.
Yeah, there's an upset. Yeah, he's great though.
I remember that one.
Yeah.
Woody Allen.
It is that. Okay, I had lost my train of thought there before you said that name. I will say this: like, this is a very devastating Holocaust drama. That is, it's a remarkable film. Definitely one of the best films of 2002. I'm gonna say get your whiteboards route because it's a yes for me on The Pianist.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, until Alex mentioned the name, I was going to make a joke about how great it was that this movie directed itself, and there was no director attached to it at all. But yeah, look, this is a good movie. This would have been a slight no for me though. But like, regardless of your feelings about Polanski, like his direction of this was still good. Like, and I do think he deserved the Oscar that year. But yeah. But that being said, we have hit the 12.
I have a knack for taking it home on Rankum.
That's a really good choice.
Yeah, I have a knack for picking one that'll close it out. I've done that a couple of times on Rankum when it comes down to me.
Are we gonna talk about our honorable
mentions? Yeah.
Oh, I'm getting there. Alex, what honorable mentions do you have?
Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
Alex, what honorable mentions do you have?
Oh, okay. So the other ones I had listed down are Memories of a Murder.
Yeah, I love that movie.
So good. The Fall from 2006, City of Gold, Let the Right One In, and Voltaire.
Ooh, Let the Right One In is good.
Yeah. Jacob, what honorable mentions did you have?
Yeah, I had a few more personal picks that I would have loved to bring up. $1 Million Baby, Mystic River, and I love Stranger Than Fiction.
Oh, that's a good movie. That's a good movie. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie.
Man.
I actually almost forgot about Stranger Than Fiction, but yeah, it's a good movie.
Oh, so good. I brought flowers.
But Jonathan, what honorable mentions did you have?
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna bring in Austin. So honorable mention was The Departed.
The Departed. Yeah.
Catch Me If You Can. I had a hard time trouble figuring out if it was a comedy or drama.
I know it's technically a drama, but man, I see that movie as more of a comedy. I think
that was the problem.
There's a lot of comedy in that movie. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's why I didn't bring it up. Munich. I think it's an underrated Spielberg film. Memories of Murder. I had The Royal Tenenbaums. I think it's a wonderful movie. Gladiator. Miracle. Frost Nixon. Juno. Love and Basketball. Adaptation. The Last Samurai. And because I didn't bring it up because I've only seen it once or twice, but it is still a masterpiece. But I don't know if I'll rewatch it again. Requiem for a Dream.
Yeah.
My man.
Yeah, for me, like some honorable mentions that I had, I had Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon on mine, which I Yeah, no, I mean, I knew what awesome. I was almost going to bring up the other New Zealand movie I did mention in the chat, Out of the Blue, which is definitely a tough watch, but it's a really good movie. Little Miss Sunshine was on there. I was also considering bringing up the other September 11 one, 1993. And I was also going to bring up another Tim Burton one, which I had a hard job deciding if it was comedy or drama. It internet tells me it's drama, but there's a lot of funny scenes in it. Big Fish is the other one I was definitely debating with. Awesome, what honorable mentions did you?
A couple of my honorable mentions. I had Gran Torino on my list. Castaway. I also had $1 Million Baby. Requiem for a Dream. I also had on my list. I might have gone to. I almost went with Pursuit of Happiness for my final pick here to try to close it out. I think Will Smith is really great in that movie, and that's another devastating film. I really like The Hurt Locker. Could have gone with that. I just watched Lost in Translation yesterday because I thought it might come up, and I might have put that on my list. I would really like Lost in Translation.
I just watched it yesterday too.
Yeah, I watched it because I thought it might have.
I would have said yes to that.
So
I would have said a big ol' no.
Okay, fair enough. I know it's a polarizing film.
I said that's someone that really likes Lost in Translation quite a bit.
Okay.
The Pianist. I would have said I would have nominated The Pianist.
Yeah, I forgot one foreign film, City of God. Forgot about that one.
And two other ones, Cinderella Man, I think with Russell Crowe is really great, and I'm also a big giant fan of Frost Nixon. I love Frost Nixon.
Oh yeah.
Yes, Frost Nixon is awesome.
Yeah, that's a great movie.
It's my favorite. What's his name?
Ron Howard.
Ron Howard.
Yeah, Ron Howard movie. Mm-hmm.
And for Leo just tuning in, The Wrestler is on the list. We're about to rank it. That was the first one I brought up.
Ryan, how dare you? Blindside?
Yeah, Blindside doesn't hold up.
Get out of here. Get out of here.
The fact that they completely changed literally everything about the movie. No, about the real life story. No thanks.
I don't like the Blindside.
Really corny.
Yeah. Like other things that are coming up in there, like as people have seen, like Far From Heaven, Talk to a Shattered Glass,
Diving Bell is really good.
And Chad brought up In the Bedroom, and then we just finished talking about, but brought up Pursuit of Happiness. But with that, it's time to start ranking these. Austin, what do you have for number 10?
I didn't start writing it. Hang on.
Wait,
Alex, what do you have for number 12?
Oh, I can do it real quick. I can do it.
Sorry. Can we do like a countdown thing again?
I'll go first real quick. It's fine. I got it. Hero. I don't like those movies.
Alex, what do you have for 12?
Finding Neverland.
Jacob.
Will Rider.
Jonathan.
11 good movies and one Finding Neverland.
And I had Remember the Titans, but Finding Neverland is going to be at 12.
Okay.
Alex, what do you have for 11?
8 Mile.
Jacob.
Still Will Rider.
Jonathan.
8 Mile.
Remember the Titans. Austin.
Hero.
But 8 Mile is going to be at 11.
Honestly, I totally respect that. It's a very specific movie. You
this is just my list backwards right now.
It's good. Yeah. It's a good movie. I don't know. Listen to the song.
I love that you've seen it, though. That's what matters. I love that you've seen it.
I've seen it. I give every one of those movies. I will give a watch. I will give it a watch, and then. But if I am not into it, no thanks.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
But Jacob, what do you have for 10?
I still haven't erased my board yet.
Jonathan.
Hero.
I still haven't erased my board yet. Remove the Titans. Austin.
Hero.
Alex.
Remember the Titans.
So, Jacob, Remember the Titans or Hero at number 10?
Hero.
He's a hero. Okay.
Okay.
Everybody from the 313, put your motherfucking hands up and follow me.
I don't live with my mom anymore.
I mean, you don't even have a hoodie on at the moment.
I don't. Not this time.
Mhm.
It's in the dryer.
But for 9, I've got Remember the Titans. Austin.
Just because I like it, don't love it. Whale Rider.
Alex.
Wait, was 8 Mile in it already?
Yeah,
Yeah.
8 Miles at 11.
Oh, it was.
Yes.
Okay, so remember.
Jacob.
Whale Rider.
Ooh,
Jonathan.
shit. I have one of those too. Whale Rider.
Ooh.
Whale Rider is going to be at 9.
Finally erased my board.
Wow, that was amazing.
Uh,
Ooh, now this is tough.
okay. Okay. Sorry, can you put in the private chat like what has and hasn't been?
We still have on the board The Wrestler, Eternal Sunshine, Up in the Air, There Will Be Blood, Almost Famous, Remember the Titans, No Country for Old Men, and The Pianist.
You know what? I think this is good. That's a good spot.
Austin, what do you have for number 8?
Almost Famous.
Alex.
Up in the Air.
Jacob.
I'll go Remember the Titans.
Jonathan.
Remember the Titans.
Remember the Titans.
This is tough.
Honestly, like I said in the dramas of the 2010s, this is a good variety. This is a good film festival.
Yeah. Alex, what do you have for 7?
Up in the Air.
Jacob.
Just because I haven't seen it, The Pianist.
Jonathan.
The Pianist.
There Will Be Blood. Austin.
I stuck with Almost Famous.
But The Pianist is going to be 7.
Oh boy.
Interesting.
But Jacob, what do you have for 6?
I'll go Almost Famous.
Jonathan.
Up in the Air.
There Will Be Blood. Austin.
Almost Famous. You're wrong, Malcolm, but that's fine.
Alex.
Up in the Air.
So I believe it's 2 for Up in the Air, 2 for Almost Famous.
Yes.
Which means it's on me.
That's a tough one.
It will come up on the screen as
That's
a
a
banner
tough
in a
one.
minute. And I'm sorry, Austin, but
Boo! I'm happy I made the list, though. I didn't know if it made the list. I thought
look, between one, I know I've seen one. I'm not too sure if I've seen. I had to go for one. I'm not too sure if I've seen. So
Okay.
yeah,
We got left.
So we've got The Wrestler, Eternal Sunshine, There Will Be Blood, Almost Famous, and No Country for Old Men left.
Damn, that's a good top 5.
Yeah, it's a really good top 5.
My top 3 is going to be rough. Yeah, rough. Trying to decide.
But Jonathan, what do you have for 5?
Hold on. Okay. The Wrestler.
Sticking with There Will Be Blood. Austin.
You can be sticking with that for a while. Almost Famous.
Alex.
There Will Be Blood.
Oh, no. No.
Jacob.
No.
Almost Famous.
Oh.
Oh, now Jonathan.
Hey.
Almost
Sorry.
famous. There will be blood.
Me.
Jonathan.
You know what to do,
Two
Jonathan.
of my favorites. Both of them are masterpieces in my opinion.
But if you had to remove one from the face of the earth,
but on my personal list, Almost Famous. Yeah, so Almost Famous is number 5. Oh, almost wrote Almost Famous.
But Austin, what do you have for 4?
Eternal Sunshine.
Alex,
There Will Be Blood.
Jacob,
There Will Be Blood.
Jonathan,
The Wrestler.
There Will Be Blood.
That should be top 3. Easy.
Yeah, that's
yeah.
shocking.
Yeah. Shocking.
Right. Okay, so just reaffirming Eternal Sunshine.
The Wrestler and No
Yeah,
Country.
No Country for Old Men.
Ooh. This has got to be.
This is insane, y'all. Insane.
Yeah. Dogs are crying. There will be blood. Or I want milkshake. I don't know.
It's probably a mix of both.
What does rankings matter anymore? I don't know.
But Alex, what do you have for number 3?
Wrestler.
Jacob,
Eternal Sunshine.
Jonathan,
The Wrestler.
No Country for Old Men, and Austin.
Eternal.
So 2 for Eternal, 2 for the
Wrestler.
Wrestler. Once again, it falls on me to.
They're both excellent.
Yeah.
There's no correct answer. But there is a correct answer, Malcolm.
Like the SAT.
I mean, unfortunately, you're probably not going to like what I've chosen.
What?
Heartbreaking.
I'm gonna erase my mind. This.
Look,
3.
one of those movies is in my top 20 of dramas for 2000. So.
Okay, so this is number 1.
You're voting for number 1, and y'all knocked out my number 1, so I got to make a decision here.
Number 2, and it's that between The Wrestler and No Country for Old Men.
Okay. Well, I alluded to it being.
Jacob, what do you have for number 1?
The Wrestler.
Jonathan.
It has one of the best villains of all time. Come on. No Country for Old Men.
The Wrestler. Austin.
I have friends in The Wrestler.
Alex.
Oh, wait. Sorry. Are we voting for number 2?
Number 1.
Number
We're
1.
going straight to number 1 just because the other one will become 2 by default. So.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Yeah, I wanted the Wrestler for number 2.
But No Country for Old Men is going to be 2. The Wrestler is going to be number 1, unfortunately.
Hey, don't blame me. Don't blame me. The script, the panel ruined what should be number 1. Is There Will Be Blood. Should be number 1. Hey.
Actually, yes. That's the true number 1.
Yeah.
That was my
Panel screwed the pooch on that one, not me.
Yeah.
But with that being said, this is our top 12 dramas of the 2000s. At number 12, we've got Finding Neverland. At 11, we've got 8 Mile. At number 10, we've got Hero. Hurting My Soul at number 9 is Whale Rider. At 8, we've got Remember the Titans. At 7, we've got The Pianist. At 6, we've got Up in the Air. At 5, we've got Almost Famous. At 4, we've got There Will Be Blood. At 3, we've got Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. At 2, we've got No Country for Old Men. And number 1 is The Wrestler. But with that being said, unless things have changed since we've done this. Last I checked, next week's episode of the Rankum is going to be top 12 TV shows based on or spinning out of movies. But Austin, where can people find you online?
Yeah, mostly over on the Movie Hero Network. We have tournament fights, tier ranker fights, podcast league now over there. Lots of good shows, and I'm also very frequent in Movie Battleground over on TMG Entertainment. So TMG Entertainment and Movie Hero Network.
Alex, where can people find you online?
You can find me on Twitter, or if Twitter's still a thing, I don't know. I don't know.
As of right now.
Maybe technically, I'm not entirely sure. Crap, what's my handle? It's been a while since I've even. This is embarrassing. Shoot, literally, I forgot. What is my handle? Oh, it's at @real_AlexMac. But yeah, I post like Twitter, funny stuff regarding horror movies. So sometimes.
But Jacob, where can people find you online?
I'm around.
And Jonathan, where can people find you online?
Yeah, Jacob could be at the Twitter office. You never know. You can find me across social media platforms on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube. Instagram, Cine.caro. Twitter, John Carroll 4. I have a letterbox to Cinecaro. Soon on Instagram, Twitter, across social media platforms, I will be ranking my personal top 25 Christmas movies next month. And I also have a future match coming up very soon that I'll be a part of. So yeah, I know Malcolm agrees to it, and it's coming soon.
Yeah.
And also have a happy and safe Thanksgiving, everybody.
You can find me on Take 3 hosting Rankum every week. Next week is top 12 TV shows based on or spinning out of movies. And you can find me all over the place, whether it's Movie Hero Network, Trivia, other places. All over the place. I appear everywhere, wherever people will have me. But yeah, but that does bring us to the end. Until next time, keep listening shit. As I find it.
I love you all.